Hello, everybody. How you all doing? I'm very excited today with who I have joining me today. I have Dr. Vita live with me today. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? How you doing? So I have Dr. Vita live with me today. Hey Ladan, how you guys doing? Hey Nishi, I'm glad you guys could join in today. I am truly excited today on who's joining me. I have Dr. Vita. She is in the United States and she is just a fantastic human being. I cannot wait for her to talk to us about women's health guide and basically, you know, I'm all about skin. Hey Maral, good to see you here. I'm all about skin. I get very excited whenever we're talking anything to do with skincare and just the health of health and wellness in general. So there's a lot to be broken down for sure. Hey Tina, hi you guys. I'm so glad you could all join in. Let me see if I can let her join. I don't know how my lighting is. Can you all see me okay? Because I can't really read the messages right now. So Dr. Vita, where are you? Let me see. Okay, I did send a request for her. Okay, perfect. How are you all doing? How's the lockdown going? I'm actually back at the campus now. So it's been, I think the best word to use is wild in a good way. It feels good to be back actually on campus with my students because I also teach medical aesthetics. So we're back on campus doing our labs, meaning our hands-on work. And so, see if she's going to join in. I hope I got this right. Oh, there she is.
There, it finally worked.
That was me. I'm the worst with tech, hey? Like I'm so not good with all this tech stuff. I was just saying to everybody that I'm actually back on the, like I teach as well, right? I teach medical aesthetics too. So I'm back at the campus and it's been so interesting, you know, with all this COVID and everything and infection control and getting yourself psyched up and trying to feel okay, you know what I mean? So, you know, hormones are all over the place, which I cannot wait. I literally read your whole book. I'm probably all over the place right now because I'm so excited to have you on today. I was like, oh my gosh, like things that we take for granted, but when you reread it and when you hear from a different perspective, you're just like, my gosh, this is amazing. So I can't wait for us to break it all down. I mean, we'll try to keep it at 45 minutes because I'm definitely saving this video as well so that people can always refer back. I literally have people already asking me, can I book an appointment with her? I was like, absolutely. I'm sure after this, you will want everything, Dr. Vita. So welcome. I am so grateful that you managed to join us today. Please go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do, and what makes you tick.
First off, my makeup. Look at these lips. Aren't they amazing?
Tell me, who are you wearing? Who are you wearing?
Nakai Skincare Cosmetics. I actually meant to put an order in because my mother is impressed that I'll put this on. I will go to church and then even at the entire day, it's like, this is the first time I've had a lipstick that actually stays on and my lips aren't crusty at the end.
Wow.
But she wants one, so I'm going to be ordering one for my mother this week.
I'm so glad to hear that, Dr. Vita. So please go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do, and what makes me love you so much.
Hi, well, my name is Dr. Vita. I help women who have reproductive issues. And so I help women with irregular periods, infertility, PCOS. At the core of a lot of these reproductive issues is hormonal imbalance. And so I work with women one-on-one to help them regulate their unique hormones.
Amazing. So with your work, have you always known that this is what you wanted to do? What did you study first before you ventured into this?
Okay, so initially this was not in the cards for me. I'm a biochemist and molecular biologist by training, and so my background has been in cancer for most of my life.
Wow.
It's been in women's cancer, so breast cancer, these hormonal cancers.
Wow.
And for some time, I just said, you know what, I want to leave the women's hormone field just because there isn't that much science. There aren't great therapeutics for women's hormones, and there's no funding for it. So whenever I'm trying to start new studies or do this and that, there's just not funding women's health that much. And so I just ended up finding my way back into doing women's hormones because I saw that from a pharmacological standpoint, we have a long way to go, but we can manage a lot of these things with herbs and holistic medicine, which is what helped me kind of regulate and balance my hormones. So that's when I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna do this and work with women one-on-one and help them try to do things naturally.
Wow. I mean, you know, we're both, so everybody, we're both from Zimbabwe and so proud, you know, that we're human beings of Zimbabwe. And when I look back with all these things that you're saying, I was talking to some of my girlfriends yesterday, actually, and we're talking about how women back home, they are having babies in their 50s, right? And when you look at the stats comparing North America to like Zimbabwe or Africa in general, you know, you try to dissect it and think, okay, what is it? And when you talk about this whole hormonal issues and what you're eating, and from reading your book as well, it's mind blowing. And when you see how they eat at home, it's completely different to what we eat, from the fast foods to the processed foods, which we don't realize how much it actually affects our hormones. So I'm going to start with skin because this is, you know, this is where my passion is at. So I'm going to start with skin, and then we're going to definitely jump into other things because I know there's a lot of people here that are so ready to ask you so many questions. Yes, Dr. Vita has the brain, beauty, and wisdom. Absolutely. That's actually one of my girlfriends that got your book on Amazon. And she was like, wow, this is so interesting. So tell me, when it comes to hormones and the skin, there is so much going on now. Like I know there's PCOS. I think her name is Kiki. She came on, you know, she came out and expressed herself, what her skin was going through and what it was, and how she literally had to fight for herself on what to do. So please explain to us how skin and your hormones, how it all is interlinked and how it actually affects us.
Great question. And a lot of times I'll see women like at the grocery store, and then I look at their face and I'm like, oh, I want to help you. I want to tell you how to fix your skin. I want to tell you, but I have to just like keep quiet. Our skin says a lot. I've struggled with serious skin issues. Adult acne, even from when I was a teenager. I had terrible acne as a teenager, and all the way into my adult years. They cleared up in my mid-20s when I started implementing the things that I teach other people. So the big thing is estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, insulin, and some of the thyroid hormones. So whenever you have misbalances in any of those, you'll start to see skin issues. So for Kiki Palmer's situation, she has PCOS. So women that have PCOS have major hormonal issues. But one of the hormones that is upregulated is testosterone. And we know that as women, we have very small amounts of testosterone normally, but women that have PCOS have an increase in testosterone. And so what that causes is an increase in sebum. I know people in different parts of the world pronounce it differently, but the oil in our skin. And so usually with women that have PCOS, you start to see that forehead, the nose, and the chin acne from that increased testosterone. So these different hormones will produce different effects on the skin. And it's very visible to somebody who does this every day.
Yeah, I mean, you've nailed it right there, because when I look at my clients, for example, and I'm analyzing their skin, I'm giving them a facial, and I go, okay, you definitely have some hormonal imbalance, because we learn about that in certain specific areas that can guide you towards that. And tell me something, why is it so difficult? So when it comes to, this is probably going to get me into trouble, but I'm going to say it anyway. Why is it that it's so difficult for physicians to do the test that you are specifically asking them to do? So a lot of women, because you're not always necessarily going to know that you have hormonal imbalance because you have hirsutism, for example, right? Or hypertrichosis, right? Like all this excessive hair growth. Not everybody is going to naturally know that. It's because they have a high level of testosterone. But why do you think it's difficult, or it's hard that you have to fight so much to tell your physician, I need you to test my hormones? Because it can start from your general physician, right? And then they can always refer you to a dermatologist. And I find with dermatologists, they're more inclined to say, let's get your hormones tested, but you're not always going to find an appointment with the dermatologist so easily first. Where's the disconnect there of saying, I want you to do a test for my hormones?
So I think the biggest thing is with, and I can only speak for the United States, I can't speak on any other healthcare system, but a big thing is with testing. So if you go to your GP, your general practitioner, and say, I have skin issues, can you test for them? Number one, it's kind of out of their scope of practice. And number two, they're not considering that as something that's very, very serious. Now, if you're looking at my skin problems were very serious to me. I had anxiety over them. I was very, very insecure about my skin. So it caused a serious problem for me. But to them, if you're just coming in and saying, hey, my skin looks bad, they don't necessarily know enough. They didn't do that extra training in dermatology to know that there's a problem. Now, if you go to a dermatologist, yeah, the dermatologist say, oh, you have rosacea, you can take this, you can take this. But it does take an extensive amount of like studies to really link the two together. So yeah, I going to the dermatologist is the best for skin problems. But then again, some dermatologists don't see certain skin conditions as serious. Though, you know, even though they're causing some insecurity within yourself, they don't look at it as, oh, that's serious.
True. No, you're so right. So I want to dive into foods, right? So again, when it comes to skin, a lot of people, like especially social media, you know, TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, everybody always have their own 2 cents on, oh, don't eat this, and oh, don't eat that, and oh, no, eat this and eat that. So what is your take when it comes to incorporating foods with how your skin feels and the message that your skin is giving? And what is your take on certain foods causing that hormonal imbalance?
My thing is, I say it depends on you. Every person is different. Even from my sister and I, you know, my sister, we have the same mother, same father. She can eat certain foods and her skin is fine. I can't eat those foods. Though we're both more on the sensitive side, in terms of skincare, we're different. Every single human being is different. So I don't like making blanket statements and just saying, oh, if you eat red meat, everybody that eats red meat is going to have cystic acne. So I stay away from making blanket statements like that. So we can say generally, if you eat, you know, meats that have a lot of antibiotics, that have a lot of hormones, then okay, yeah, maybe that could cause issues for you. But maybe you don't eat enough to cause issues. One person can eat 4 ounces of red meat a week and be fine, but you can't. So I stay away from completely blanket statements. Now, what I will make statements on are fertility boosting foods. So we know that, hey, if you want to get pregnant, you need to stay away from 2% milk, 1% milk, things like that. But general hormonal balance for people is different.
Thank you. I mean, you have completely nailed it, because when people are looking for answers, they generalize themselves, or they put themselves in the blanket of their friends or what their friends are taking, what they're doing, and they run with that as well, without actually consulting the right people like yourselves, who has spent so many years trying to figure this out and having to have used yourself as the guinea pig first. I don't think anything beats that, you know. Someone here said, I think this is Rosette, she said dermatologists are too quick to prescribe. In her experience, most just want to give Accutane and don't address deeper concerns. Like, this is so true. And again, again, I try to find that balance when people come to me and they've been put on Accutane, and I'm like, because then your fertility rate, and we're going to talk about that, that's affected. Depression, mood swings, and then your hormones literally go out of whack sometimes instead of actually finding a balance. So I don't know if I should put you on the spot to ask you this, but what are your thoughts when it comes to Accutane and fertility, and how do those link in together?
Okay, first off, that's a very, very interesting comment that the listener made. When I was in college, I remember somebody telling me that I should go into dermatology as a specialist. I don't know why, because I had bad skin, but they were saying that dermatology is great for income because you can get a percentage of, you know, products. You're basically selling products in your office, and people are coming in. You're spending 5 minutes with them. Okay, you can take this, you can take this. So they were saying if you really, really want to make money with an easy career, that dermatology is it, because the people are coming in ready to buy expensive products and they trust you. So yes. All right. I don't want to say too much about Accutane, but I of course, there's data out there that suggests that it's bad for you. That's as much as I'm going to say.
I like how you're so diplomatic about this, but no, you've said it, and I mean, I'm also not even going to start diving into this whole thing of people don't realize the whole commission, the whole getting a cut on it, the whole why are they concentrating so much on telling you to use Dove soap. All these small little things, like I have noticed that, and I have a dermatologist friend, and she has confirmed that as well. And I'm just like, this is quite interesting. But anyway, talk to me about fertility. I know, I'm all over the place and everything. Like, we've dived into skin. I love everything that you've talked about skin, but because I know this is something you actually went through, and ladies, I kid you not, you want to make an appointment with this lady, like anybody that is here, and sometimes also even gentlemen, it's important for you to understand what your wife or your girlfriend is going through when it comes to all these hormonal imbalance. So fertility, and I know this is a journey that you have gone through, that was also a part of you creating the book that you created. What are the key things when it comes to symptoms? Everybody has their own different types of symptoms, and we always want to do this thing with the period, oh, it's normal. What really is normal, and why do we end up normalizing things that are actually not okay? How do we figure that out?
I think it's a societal thing. It's very, very sad that we as women feel like it's okay to be punished every month with our menstrual cycle. So if you're having very, very painful periods, this is a serious hormonal imbalance that you're having. It could be as serious as, okay, you're just, you're having cramps. It could lead to endometriosis, which endometriosis is an autoimmune disorder that is the result of serious hormonal imbalances. It could be the result of you having like issues with your cyst, and you're producing too much. Cysts are growing and growing. It's important for us to make sure that we have great hormonal balance before we go to conceive. Okay, so I have to stay on top of my health so that I can be in good hormonal balance, right? If I'm in bad hormonal balance, that affects my fertility. And so with a lot of the women that I work with, skin is very, very important, because it's the easiest way that I can tell, like, okay, I think I should test for this particular thing first. And then once we see, okay, yeah, she does have PCOS. Oh yeah, okay, she does have, increase in estrogen or these other things. Then we can now start to balance those hormones to work on her fertility. But first, we need to really see what's going on. So the skin will tell me one thing, blood work will also tell me one thing. But if you have really, really painful periods, even if you have clear skin, you have very painful periods, you also have hormonal imbalances.
I love what you said. I mean, I say this all the times, that your skin is your largest organ for a reason. So it sends so many vibrational messages, literally. But half of the time, excuse me, we tend not to pay attention, or we tend to ignore, or this whole thing of like, especially in our society, of, oh, it's okay, it's gonna be fine, you'll get over it, or it's not that serious. But you can tell and you can see it in your skin that something is off. Someone here said, what about vitamin D? I've been reading that its deficiency is often the culprit for acne. Is that true?
So I've heard that too. I can confirm that just because I have not like looked into the studies. So I can't confirm whether or not vitamin D is, but that's something that I've heard. It's just not something that I've looked into. Now I have to say that most of the women that I work with in my practice are mostly African American. Some of them are Black from I just had a client from the Bahamas who signed on yesterday. And so those women, some of them will have fibroids, but they do almost always have deficiency in vitamin D. So that's something that we work to correct. Definitely vitamin D has been linked to fibroids as well. So vitamin D deficiency has been linked to a lot of reproductive issues. But in terms of acne, I can't confirm that because I don't know enough about that.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, when I had my checkup for the year, my doctor said the same thing. She was like, oh, you're lacking vitamin D. And I can't believe I'm sharing this on the live, but I started taking the vitamin D, Dr. Vita, and it constipated me.
Okay. So you're probably taking a synthetic vitamin D. So try to take a supplement from a natural source. That will clear it up.
Yeah, so I mean, I thought it's because she recommended, organic vitamin. I'll have to share it with you and send you a picture and tell me what you think. But again, I always say this whole word of organic is so overrated until you actually see. I've learned this in skin, people run with organic. I'm like, water is organic. So people can call things organic and natural, and really when you dig in deeper, you realize that no, actually this is not as natural or as pleasant for your system as it should. So to be honest, I stopped taking them because I was like, okay, I am lacking this vitamin in my body, but at the same time it's constipating me. Somebody said, do you have an example of one from a natural source for the vitamin D?
Oh no, so the company that I use is Naturello. Naturello is
what is it called?
Naturello.
Naturello. Okay, Naturello. How do you spell that?
Favorite. Naturelo.
Naturelo. Okay. There we go. I've posted a Naturello. Okay, I'll look into that as well. That's really good. That's really interesting. So another thing as well, journaling. In your book you talk about journaling, and I read that. And for me, I always say to my clients, when you're going through, that journey of problematic skin, you have to journal, because this is the way that you can figure out just exactly what is going on your skin and why, and even every other stuff of like period pain, like you're talking about. Is it every month? Or things like the color of your blood. What's your take on journaling? What is it that one is really supposed to do or to start when they do journaling?
Journaling is so important. My sister is actually on here. My sister Gloria is on here.
Yes, hello, I saw her.
You saw her? And she doesn't, but I've been feeling like really extra fatigued lately. I mean, she knows that I've been feeling fatigued. But I was trying to figure out, like, why am I just extra kind of tired lately? And so I kind of was looking back just on my life, really the past 10, 11, 12 years. And I looked and I saw that around this time of year, every year, I start to feel the way that I'm feeling right now. And she always telling me, like, look at all, hey, there she is. She kept telling me all of your records, your medical records from the past. And so I kind of did that. I just sat there and I was like, wow, what's going on in my life during this time of year? And so I discovered that this time of year, I get super tired. So it's important to keep records of that, keep medical records of, okay, do you notice that, like, whenever it's July, whenever it's hot outside, have diarrhea, or just anything, whatever's going on with your body. Do you notice that your skin gets drier during the winter time? Or do you notice that you like a little bit more depressed during certain times? It's very important to journal our health history and what's going on with our health, but also our emotional state. Why am I like extra moody today? Write down, I'm extra moody, I'm very, very upset at my husband, and I was yelling at him. And then start to look at those patterns, and you see, okay, well, I noticed that a couple of days before my period, I get really, really moody. I have these mood swings. So that's something that needs to be fixed. It's very, very important to keep like a record of emotional being, health, everything.
That's and again, we always think we have it figured out in our heads, but we don't. Even when you're going to your doctor's appointment, I am that person that goes with my book with questions written down, because once you're in there, it gets very overwhelming, right? And even keeping track on things and what has happened. Someone here said, what's your opinion on birth control, and is there a minimum amount of time you should why can't I read this anymore? Yeah, so what's your opinion on birth control, and is there a minimum time, a minimum amount of time you should be on it? Yes.
Things like birth control are personal decisions. Unfortunately, if a woman is trying to prevent conception, there aren't a lot of options for her. So I am not a fan of birth control, the hormonal and non-hormonal. They do come with side effects, both of them. They do mess with your periods. Of course, hormonal birth control causes hormonal imbalances and makes things worse. I'm not a fan of them. However, I don't tell people to not go on them, because if you can't have a baby and you can't, practice abstinence or some of these other things, women have an irregular cycle and they don't know when they're ovulating, then they could get pregnant. If you're not ready for that, then that could cause problems in your life. So I personally am not on birth control. Nobody that I work with is on birth control. I recommend that people not be on birth control, but also that's a personal decision.
True. I mean, if you're not trying to have a baby and you're not protecting yourself, then that could be another issue. But absolutely, I agree. And then when you're on the birth control and when you're then trying to conceive, there is that stage, right, that you need to flush out your system and cleanse yourself. And we don't really think through all that, because we just assume that, well, at least I'll speak for myself. I'm just thinking, if I'm off the birth control pill, I'm sure in a month my body should be ready to conceive. And it doesn't really work like that, right? So if you're not a fan of birth control pills, somebody said, as a practitioner, what do you recommend to women who don't want to conceive?
Great question. So I recommend that you get to know your body, that you understand when you're ovulating. You can spend a cycle or two where you learn, okay, this is the day that I ovulate. You should ovulate at a set amount of time every cycle. So let's say you have a 28-day cycle. You should ovulate around day 14, 15, 16, whatever that is. My suggestion is figure out what that ovulation day is, and then use protection or avoid intercourse around that ovulation day. There are herbs that are there to help with preventing conception, but not everybody's disciplined in taking herbs. But the ideal thing would be just avoid intercourse or use protection around your ovulation time. And it's a method that works. Which you have to, because I'll meet with some people and they're like, oh, I can't use any protection, or I can't control myself in the moment. So for those types of people, then I'm like, well, you have no options. If you just have to be on birth control, I guess, unless you're okay with having a baby.
Yeah, true. So talk to me through this. I can't remember whether it was in your book or it was on one of your YouTube that I watched, when you talked about examples of herbs. You're going to have to pay for her services. We're not giving you everything for free. Okay, Book your appointment with Dr. Vita and you're going to get all the insights. She's going to kill me later on. This is one of my girlfriends. And I've been telling her about you. I'm like, you need to make an appointment with her. Like, it's a no-brainer. So I'm pretty sure right after this live, she'll be blasting on your phone. So we're not giving you all the answers here, okay? I will, how do I do this? Which contact do you want me to use for people to get in touch with you? Your email or?
No, people can just, Instagram is great.
There you go.
There are other people on my email and then it has to get forwarded to me and blah, blah. If you want to like direct contact with me, Instagram.
They're all laughing. Yes, we're not giving everything for free. We're not about that life. So pay for the services. So go in her DM, get yourself an appointment with Dr. Vita. You will thank me later. You know, I'm just here for the plot. Like, just come and say, Maggie, thank you for contacting me, for connecting me with Dr. Vita. They're all laughing. And by the way, she works with women from all over the world, okay? Like, of course, it's easier. You know, people always have this notion of wanting to be close to their doctor because she's a drive away or we're in COVID. Everything is online. So there is no reason why she wouldn't be able to help you, guide you through on what you need to do, suggesting the foods, suggesting everything. I'm happy to pay Dr. Vita. That's what's up. Exactly. I love this. So go ahead and DM her. And again, I am her spokesperson right now. If you're DMing wanting all the answers for free, it's not happening. Like, this is it's a paid service right now. We did this live so that you're able to have that kickstart and understand her work and see what she does. And I really recommend actually you get her book as well on Amazon. I'm waiting for my hard copy. I know I got the, you know, the what do you call it? The PDF form, yeah.
Let me tell you about the paperback. In my perfectionist mentality, right? All of a sudden, the day before the book launches, I'm like, I want my pages to be prettier. Everything was ready to go launch. And I'm like, okay, no. Well, I'm gonna so basically you'll have Monday or Tuesday, you'll be able to order the paperback.
You're so funny.
Even
you want
the ebook, I was like, I want it to be prettier. I want it to be, you know, so the perfectionist in me, but you'll be able to get the paperback in a couple days.
I'm so glad. No, I'm honestly, I'm looking forward to it because I'm that person. Like, I'm such an old soul when it comes to books. Like, I'm not a Kindle kind of person. I love to hold my books. And then I always think about my kids reading it one day, my grandkids reading it one day. So this, if you're that person, it's still available on Kindle, so you can do that. And right now, can you please tell them how much this book is? Like, I don't even understand. I'm like, I should just be your manager and be telling them they need to be paying like $100 for this book, but it's not even that close. Please tell them how much it is.
Right now it's free. So you can grab it. It is free for the next 3 days. So you can go ahead and grab it for free before the
guys. Who does that? Dr. Vita does that. Her book is free right now on Amazon, okay? It's Women's Health Guide. It is free. Free 99, people. Free 99. You all better run and go download the book for yourself. I promise you will not regret it. And it will really just give you that confirmation that she knows what we like free too. Of course we like free stuff. Everything else in the DM will be paid for. We're not doing it for free. But you go ahead and grab it right away before, or just order. Great. Okay, so here somebody said, my dermatologist recommended me on taking zinc for PCOS. Do you know of a link between zinc and PCOS symptoms? Somebody's asking, sorry.
Yeah, so usually women that have deficiencies in zinc will have these issues with testosterone. So zinc is not going to cure PCOS or anything like that. But usually people that have PCOS will have a deficiency in zinc. And so sometimes we'll use zinc to help boost fertility. But for women that have PCOS, that's not going to manage it to the extent. Now, if you're trying to get pregnant, of course you would need more than that. If you just want like better skin for your PCOS, zinc will help a little bit, but it's not, you're still going to have breakouts. So it's not the end all be all. I'm sure that they suggested another product that you could take for it, but basically if you have PCOS, it's not going to go away until you balance the hormones. And taking a little bit of zinc isn't going to balance those hormones. So it's good to have the nutrition, but to have the supplementation, but really you have to get to the root of the root cause of
the issue. Yeah. You know, everything when it comes to women, I mean, any human being, as a matter of fact, it goes around the hormones. Like, the hormones is such a big factor in us. And as women, everybody that's listening here, we need to stop standardizing this whole one shoe size fits all. It doesn't work like that. Like, how your mother feels, obviously there's the track record of hereditary. I get that factor, and I always say to people, it's important for you to also be very aware of your history, your hereditary from your mother's side or your father's side, the women, what they went through. Again, it comes to journaling and seeing where the similarities are. But again, like you said, you and Glow, you're from the same mother and father, and yet you go through completely different sensitivities. So it's so important to really just acknowledge that the hormones are there. They're there to stay. They're not going away. You can't run away from it or try to do the quick fix, because we're all about the quick fix. Even when I talk about skincare, when I ask people first, okay, so how is your periods like? How are your hormones like? They go, excuse me? I'm like, yeah, because I'm not going to sit here and just recommend skincare products when I know for a fact that it goes beyond me just shoving you with this cleanser and this moisturizer. You got to go see your doctor and get tested. And this is what I love about you, that you're like, you got to get to the root cause. And the root cause is always linked around the hormones. So please, last words. What is it that you would advise to any woman out there? What are the key things that you want to tell them, and why they need to come to your DM? Like, literally right after this, why they need to be rushing to your DM to get all the information they need.
Well, ladies, it's important to get to the root cause of our issues. So if somebody asks me, hey, should I take Accutane, all these other things, a good skincare regimen is important, but let's not like medicate all these problems. So you should have good quality skincare. But if you're having these skin issues, then figure out what's wrong. Like, you're going to have to spend one-on-one. Stop trying to search for a prescription to solve everything. You're going to have to get to the bottom of your root issues, to the bottom of your food sensitivities. And so really, if you're starting to see issues on here, imagine what's going on in your cervix and your uterus. So it's very, very important to be aware of your body. Stop trying to do quick fixes and get to the bottom of the problem. Retinol everything, and just,
yeah, it's like and listen here, I'm all about skincare, but I'm also very candid and honest to everybody and anybody. I'm like, just stop this whole masking of everything. I love what you just pointed out, to say, if you are seeing all this going on the outside of your skin, imagine what is going on the inside. Like you said, your cervix, your uterus, like literally your whole reproductive system is crying out for help. But what happens is it's showing through your skin. And what are you doing about it? Stop this whole Dr. Google, like people with Dr. Google or Dr. TikTok or Dr. or Dr. Celebrity said this. I'm just like, people, stop. Get the right people, get the qualified Dr. Vita right here with her free book. Let me repeat this, the book.
Let me say this. I do want to say this. I think working with a good esthetician is very, very important. It's good to like shed that layer, like especially if you have bad skin. I'm not
Yeah.
saying like don't get any kind of, you know, esthetician, don't go to an esthetician, don't get any facials. No, that stuff is actually very, very important. So while you're working on the outer part, make sure you're working on the inner part to prevent those breakouts. So I love scrubs. I love, you know, I used to go for my facials. So I'm okay with those things.
Thank you. I still have a job at this point. Thank you for saying an esthetician matters.
They're absolutely important. And also, like, they're good for recommending products for your skin. I mean, you were trained to show people this. So you can,
Yes.
you know, not everybody needs to be using Aveeno. God help them. But you can, you know, going to an esthetician will say, hey, you know, you have this type of skin, go and, you know, go and use products. So it's part of that customization. Not everybody needs to be using every product. Each person needs their own individual thing. So I'm all for popping the pimples and and all that. And facials are great.
Thank you for your honesty. I absolutely love that. So there's a question here. I'm going to say, Ladan, you're going to have to DM on this one. We're not giving this one for free. You are going to DM Dr. Vita and see what she would recommend for you. But again, ladies and gentlemen, this book is free right now. Until when? When is it free until? What day?
It's free until Tuesday night.
Until Tuesday night. So you have Saturday, Sunday, Monday until Tuesday at midnight. That book is coming off. So please make use of it. Share it with your loved ones. Link them up with Dr. Vita. I'm not going to sit here and say she has all your answers, but what I can tell you is she will lead you to everything making sense when it comes to your body. Dr. Vita, thank you so much. I could go all day and talk to you and literally listen to everything.
Let me just say, I have a concluding statement. You've been seeing that I've been drinking out of this glass this whole time. My lipstick is still intact. Look, and you don't even see any lipstick, none at all on the rim of this glass.
I love it.
First lipstick that I can eat meals, several meals, and I can drink without worrying about my lipstick. I could never do this on an interview with any other lipstick.
I love it. You're such a gem. Thank you so much. And everybody that joined us today, I thank you so much. Thank you for Dr. Vita. Go get her book on Amazon. Go DM her. And the DMing, what's the name of the book? It's called Women's Health Guide.
You can find it.
Women's Health Guide. Pardon?
They can also check my link in bio or DM me.
Yes, exactly. So go on a link, start following her. She is a complete vibe. I mean, your posts, every single time before I even open it, I'm so tickled. And they're so candid and they're so real. And it's important because sometimes, you know, I always say life is serious, but it's not that serious. But I'm so well connected with you because you're not too serious about it. You find some fun ways for someone to feel like, okay, I can really connect with her because she is as real as it gets. And you're the first example on yourself to this journey. So thank you so much, Dr. Vita. I will talk to you soon, and I'm sure there'll be a part 2. There'll be a part 2. When I get my hardcover, we're going to come back and do a part 2, and maybe Dr. Vita will give me a code for you guys to get a small little discount for your consultation. So we'll talk about that. Okay.
Oh, by the way, I also want to talk to you about skincare stuff. So I'm gonna interview you one of these days in the next month or 2.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Schedule.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Dr. Vita. Have yourself a good Saturday, and everybody else, thank you for joining. Talk soon. Bye. Oh, how do I end the live? I always do this every time. How does this work again? Let me see.
There's a delay.
Sorry? Oh, there.
Always a delay. Look, there's still people on here.
No.